is Thursday. And it's also the 1st of April, which sometimes you'd expect someone to play a joke on you, but I don't have any jokes. I just have a few FTGs to give out, and well, that's all. That's all it takes. You know, what else do you need? It's Thursday. It's the Morning Night Live. What do you expect? I thought it'd be funny to do nothing but goofy news stories today, kind of Babylon Bee type stuff, and I'm like, nah, it's FTG Thursday. We'll just give out a few FTGs like we normally do. I'm sorry that I'm doing this thing while I'm talking to you, but I almost forgot to do that. So anyway, it's FTG Thursday. It's April Fool's Day. There's enough jokers out there. In fact, most of the people I talk about are jokers, so I don't need to make a joke about them. Half of them are already a joke. Anyway, before we hit the intro, though, let's just thank our first sponsor of the day, American Company. American Company, the most patriotic company on the planet. In fact, I should have a flag waving back there, but they sent a flag even before I started the show. American Company. Thank you so much. Oh, what the hell was that? That should have been... Okay, there we go. I guess I should fix that. Here, let's do that again. There we go. Hey. Anyway, American Company, today's show is sponsored by the American Company, makers of American bats and other products for all your needs, mob approved and American made. And their CEO, Gunfox61, thank you so much. I appreciate you very much. And on that note, let's just play the intro. Oh, well, I'll say hi to Kyle too. Well, we'll do Kyle's after the intro. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. And stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the PDawgKnight Channel on April 1st, 2021. It is FTG Thursday. And by the way, American Company and CEO Gunfox61.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Thank you very much for being a time-honored sponsor of the show. Also, thank you. This is Kyle with the Deuce on Streamlabs, also sponsoring the show today. Thank you. Who says, hello, chat people and PDawg. Well, hello to you too, Kyle. Just got in under the bell, or before the bell, well, after the bell. I just ring the bell whenever, so it doesn't really matter. Also, as you may have noticed, I do have my cup of reparations coffee in hand, the Salt Lake City, Utah cup. And this is a particularly good batch. I got to remember where my mother got this from. My mother sent me some coffee for Christmas, and I had it in the freezer, and have to grind it myself. I got the grinder out and ground some up and made me a cup. Now I do use a Keurig, by the way, but we have the little cups that you put your own coffee in, and it's really because really it's buying coffee for Keurigs can get kind of expensive if you don't know what you're doing. But if you get those reusable cups, you just get them at Walmart or Target or whatever. And you grind your own really good blends, and boy, it makes a nice cup of coffee. You don't have to make a whole pot when you're the only one home drinking coffee at this time of morning. So I enjoy it quite a bit. Now, let's see who's in the chat today, because I do want to say good morning like I always do. What's going on down here, though? Oh, there we go. I was like, why didn't this thing go? Good morning to everybody. All right, so anyway, first in the chat today was my friend from down under, Richo, who gets the bell. Thank you very much for being at the show. I appreciate that. And also, good morning, Becca Fairley. Thank you for tweeting out the show. Maddie also tweeting out the show. And I'm sure Ronan's here somewhere. So there's in fact, there you are, Ronan. I see you. Also, good morning, Hig and Cindy, who are who are probably, there you go. We are still chilling at home base. No trips planned yet. And Cindy Rochelle says hi. So good morning, Hig and Cindy Rochelle. Good morning, Ronan. Good morning, Uncle Bad Touch.
Come on, man.
I know who you are. I do know. We all know who you are. Good morning, Don Kiddick, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man. Good morning, Gun Fox 61. Oh, I already said Gun Fox 61, but I'm going to say it again because Gun Fox 61, the ever-present and faithful administrator of the PDawgKnight Discord server. Please join that if you haven't done so far. Always lots of great information there, always. Also, good morning to Jonathan Pedersen, Jesse Leon, Seal 77. Nice to have you here. Welcome back. Also, good morning, Advocatus Diabli. Good morning, Attack Alpaca. Paul Farrell, what's up? Good morning to Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Good morning also to, let's see, I guess got to take a package. Oh, I already got all these people. Good morning, Becca Fairley. Lurking Gopher's in the house. How you doing? Also, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
And also, good morning to Ost San. Good morning, Anna Lynn. Let's see, Sean D.W.'s in the house. Morning, my fellow deplorables, Sean says. Also, good morning. Did I say Tackle Pack already? I think I did. Also, Jen T's in the house. Mike Savage, Blarg. Zablé is here. Nice to see you. Moonbase Radio. And I think, Somnambule Nation's here. I must have skipped a few. This thing jumps like usually halfway down. Just got to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Safe so far, but I'll say hi if I didn't notice yet. Anyway, so on this April Fool's Day, we, it's kind of appropriate to have FTG Day on April Fool's Day. There are plenty of fools in the world, and we just gotta have a chat about them. Now, but then again, I also, being a little bit late this morning, didn't make my list. I didn't make my list, and I haven't checked it twice. But we're gonna just continue to move right along here. Did somebody else just hop in? I could have sworn I saw another name I hadn't seen yet. Okay, well, not quite, but we'll figure it out. All right. So anyway, this was fascinating. I don't know if you saw this story over the last couple days, and I'm going to pull this off of ACES site just because the link to the article I had, it has, I like how Ace puts things. So this is obviously editorialized. If you're not familiar with Ace of Spades blog, it's one of my favorites. Has been since the early 2000s, actually. And apparently, Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon.com, the largest or most, the wealthiest man in America, right? Is it in America or the world? No, in America. In America. He has done this. Let me stop here. Thank you, Becca Fairley, for the very generous donation. And also, Becca Fairley.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Becca, who says, just showing my appreciation. I will have to catch the replay because I am working at the office versus at home today. Have a great stream and also FTG. Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate the support as always. By the way, programming note. Thank you so much, Becca. That's very kind of you and generous. I think we're doing the birthday show tomorrow. I'm not going to do it Monday because it'd be after the fact. And just because it's I'm taking Monday through Friday and my birthday's on Sunday. I'm doing the birthday show tomorrow, even though I already have the fireworks going. The graphics are probably going to change by tomorrow. Everything's going to look different, at least in theory, if I actually get to it. But I figure we'll just do it tomorrow because I don't think I'm going to stream this weekend. Probably going to go do some day drinking with my wife on Saturday since I can't celebrate my birthday on Sunday because Sunday's Easter and we're going over to Grandma's for Easter dinner. So we're just, we're going to just enjoy it tomorrow and then I'll enjoy it more on Saturday and so on and so forth. Although you just never know with me. Every once in a while, I just come down to the basement in my studio here and go, turn that thing on! And it happens, but Anyway, good morning is in the house. And also good morning to Renee Mayette. How you doing? Oh, and Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. Fan freaking tastic. Nice to see you. So anyway, Jeff Bezos, richest man in America, at least. Not the world. I think the Queen might be worth more than all. There's a whole list of people. They always say, "Oh, richest man in America," or this and that, and richest man in the world. They only tell you the ones that they know about. There are people out there that probably are worth way more than Jeff Bezos or what's Bill Gates or Elon Musk or whatever. There are people out there that are way more wealthy than them. They just don't tell you about them because they just don't want you to know too much about them. So, for example, there's a good chance that the Queen of England, the royal family, probably is worth more than all those people. There are certain members of the Rothschild family that are still around that still probably have far more assets than them. But anyway, Jeff Bezos, the one we know that is the wealthiest man in America, or at least he's always in the top 3. Let's put it that way. Well, apparently he's been hiring Twitter bots. Hello, Willett Forge. He's been hiring people to be Twitter bots, an army of Twitter trolls, apparently, to defend his reputation and attack his critics. Good gracious. Did I say Jonathan Peterson? Did I mean Jonas Pedersen? Did I mess it up? Was it supposed to be Jonas Pedersen? Okay. I don't know which one's here. You laughed at them saying he said Jonathan Peterson. LOL. Okay, I hope I got both of you. Well, they usually are both here, so I'm not messing me up. So anyway, Jeff Bezos hired an army of trolls to defend his reputation and attack his critics on Twitter. Monopolist billionaires are recruiting, paying nasty internet trolls to harass their critics while simultaneously demanding that their tech monopolies cronies ban and censor their critics. Great. Hello, Ebony Williams. How you doing? YouTube, for example, just created another new tool so that Disney can silence its critics, allowing corporations to turn off the dislike counter on their videos. This is all obviously being done by mutual request. And you know that Bezos' cronies at Twitter aren't going to ban his troll army or punish Amazon for organizing a harassment campaign. And according to Ace, this is cartel. Cartels get trust busted. And I don't care how many pseudo-right shows are on their payrolls. So Amazon recruited an army of Twitter trolls and code-named it Veritas to target critics like Bernie Sanders and defend Jeff Bezos. The army is made of ambassadors who go online to defend the companies. Yes, ambassadors. It began in 2018, but has become particularly relevant in the midst of 6,000 Amazon workers in Alabama who are voting on whether to form a union. The ambassadors defend warehouse conditions and troll Amazon critics. Training documents reveal they are told to speak out in a, quote, blunt way if necessary. In other words, harass and bully people. Amazon recruited a Twitter army that was codenamed Veritas, whose members are picked for their sense of humor, and their task was to defend Jeff Bezos' reputation online. The army was recruited, and I already read that. On Twitter, the army has defended worker. Okay, we already read that too. I see. They've defended worker conditions and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, and has even gone after the company's biggest critics like Bernie's. Okay, we already said that. Editors, please, editors. Anyway, they were told specifically to confront people on Twitter in a blunt manner, according to the internet document about their training that was obtained by The Intercept. So here it is. It read. Here's the internet document for their training. Now, I'm taking a chance even talking about this because I'm sure Jeff Bezos has somebody listening to me and everyone else on the internet. Because anytime you say Jeff Bezos, there's the algorithm goes out and alerts the warning system to get their trolls. So here's the letter. To quote, to address speculation and false assertions in social media and online forums about the quality of the FC, which is the fulfillment center, associate experience, we are creating a new social team staffed with active tenured fulfillment center employees who will be empowered to respond in a polite but blunt way to every untruth, end quote. The project description reads, fulfillment center ambassadors, or FCAs, will respond to all posts and comments from customers, influencers, including policymakers, and media questioning the fulfillment center associate experience. Good Lord Almighty. Hello, TC Ball. How you doing? And good morning, Amy in Connecticut. These are the same people who claim the power to censor people and to ban the sales of books if it departs from their version of the truth. And yet here we have one of the tech monopolists decreeing that any criticism of him or of his company practices are contrary to the truth. We know that nearly 6,000 Amazon workers in Bessemer are deciding whether they want to form a union, the biggest labor push in the online shopping giant's history. And so anyway, the article is also open here in the Daily Mail, which pretty much gave the same. Now let's see, the training documents reveal they were told to speak out in a blunt way. So this is the same article, I believe. And so it gives you examples of these people. Global Social CS Management. Let's see. And here's some of their talking points. A majority of the associates are proud to work for us, are good for what they do, and like their jobs. Many have said that they're offended when they see people who don't know what it's actually like inside a fulfillment center commenting inaccurately about their work. So they like what we're doing, like that we are doing this program. Oh, they just love it. I'm sure they don't get compensated and are the most happy and rosy picture of people of all time. And anyway, and so here's some Twitter handle mock-ups. And I don't know if you can see this. I'm not going to do that. It just shows all these different people showing. Okay, you can't really see it, and I can't really see it either. So anyway, a confidential trading memo details Amazon's fulfillment center ambassador program that was codenamed Veritas. It shows examples of the Twitter accounts and the ambassadors used to defend the company online. So here's an example. Somebody here, for some reason, or Amazon public policy, who was chirping at Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang, not true. Last year, he had $1.7 billion in federal tax expense. We paid employees at least $15 an hour, 2 times the federal minimum wage since 2018. And we also provide paid sick leave, comprehensive benefits, in a safe, inclusive environment. You're welcome to visit and see for yourself. And so somebody here, Ellen from Texas, says, for some reason, Amazon News, I believe Andrew Yang. Yes, I do. And I don't believe you. And I also believe that Amazon employees pee in bottles. Why? Because your warehouses are so huge that by the time they walk all the way to the bathroom, their break is over. You people are awful. And then this person answered, Amazon FC Yola. It's somebody with looks like a fake even picture. Although the facility is big, there are numerous bathrooms to use. My building has 12. Each bathroom can have 3 to 6 toilets. That's plenty. Plus, with 20 to 30 minute breaks, there's more than enough time. Now, I, as you know, work for UPS, and it's interesting because if you talked about where I work, there are bathrooms everywhere in the building I work in, and it's a huge, huge warehouse, right? And so I don't know. I know that there's an Amazon facility not too far from my house here, and I don't know. Who knows if they have bathrooms there or not. But there was that story that some Amazon workers in some fulfillment centers were having to, pee in bottles and whatnot because they weren't able to leave their station, when they needed a personal break, so to speak. I don't know how the fulfillment center works. So anyway, then here, this was someone named Professor Cena. Hey, Amazon, I just want to say that I'm okay with getting the garbage I order from you a lot later if it means your employees are able to take adequate breaks and work with dignity. Just saying. So someone named Gary. My fulfillment center lets me take 2 20-minute breaks and 1 30-minute lunch. On overtime days, we get 3 20-minute breaks, which is also pretty nice as well. Before the pandemic, our breaks used to be only 15 minutes. The overall 10-minute increase is thumbs up. Being an essential worker is dignifying for me. Wow. Who wrote that? Anyway, they have people out there that are, I guess they're paid to just go troll people on Twitter and talk back and chirp back at people. So anyway, oh my goodness. The goal of, okay, so let's see. So this is the document that, they use to, okay. On Twitter, the Army has defended worker conditions to Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and has even gone after the company's biggest critics like Bernie Sanders. Okay, we already got that. Here's the document, though, that they started. Here's the first part. The goal of today's meeting is to get a line on the launch plan for the FC Ambassadors Program, i.e. Twitter trolls. And here's the tenets. Tell your truth. We encourage our associates to share experiences about their time with Amazon. We will not offer misleading or untrue messages in order to spin what may be an uncomfortable situation for the company. 2, preserve customer trust. Our number one priority is continuing to earn the trust of our customers and educating them on what it's actually like inside the Amazon fulfillment centers. Okay. 3, respect. We vigilantly refute untruths about working experiences at Amazon. We may direct, even blunt, but we may be direct, even blunt, but we will always be respectful, even our worst critics. The Veritas ambassadors and the Amazon PR account have trolled critics like Bernie Sanders online. In one reply, the Amazon PR account wrote, quote, "I often say we are the Bernie Sanders of employers, but that's not quite right because we actually deliver a progressive workplace." Oh my God. I'll give him a point for trolling Bernie Sanders, but Sanders was also singled out in the document in role play scenarios where an ambassador replied to a comment he'd made about Bezos' exorbitant wealth. Everyone should be able to enjoy the money they've earned and saved. I agree with that. It's theirs. They should be able to do with it as they please. That includes Jeff Bezos. Okay, I agree with that part. But I'm sorry. If this was happening organically, sure, but I don't know. Some delivery drivers claim they've been forced to urinate and defecate in bags and bottles to avoid taking breaks because they say they are under such intense pressure to make deliveries on time. Among those who have spoken out against the company is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who said workers should be able to form a union. And so they did try to do that apparently in a couple different locations. You know, it's I find it a challenge to decide to who to FTG the most in this. But today it's going to be FTG Jeff Bezos. So there you go. All right, let's move on. Now this, I don't know if you've been following the Matt Gaetz story. And I really don't know what to make of it because again, it's one of those stories that is unsourced, and it's going after a Republican who has been prominent in certain areas, and particularly Matt Gaetz' support of Donald Trump and his, during the impeachment and everything else. And so I don't know. I don't know if Matt Gaetz, the other part, very few details, at least in the initial story. If Matt Gaetz did what they said, well, FTG Matt Gaetz, right? But here's some weird things about the story. Hello, Sapphire Dragon. How you doing? And so this story from Red State actually caught my eye. And again, I don't know when this has supposedly happened, but if he's hitting on her, whatever, having sex with 17-year-old girls, F him, right? But it screams. This story screams 5-day rule. Because I unsourced story about a perfect person to attack in a state where everybody hates the Republicans in Florida, at least in the media, not the people who elected them. And you better wait before you talk too much about this. And and wait till there's an actual story anyway. So, but this story was interesting. The Matt Gaetz leak makes the FBI look really stupid and corrupt, and it does if this was leaked by the FBI. Last night, amidst a slew of far more important stories, the New York Times sought to change the narrative from the disaster at the border by leaking about a supposed investigation involving Representative Matt Gaetz. The report was based on anonymous sources giving very vague information about what might or might not be going on. That's the other thing. It was extremely vague. It was it was pretty much gay ops, if you ask me. Right on, Hig, gay ops. So it was so vague. The report is based on anonymous sources giving very vague information about what might or not be going on. And Red State covered it initially last night. And if Gaetz actually did something wrong, he should be absolutely held accountable. So here's what they said earlier. The Representative Matt Gaetz has been the subject of the inquiry by the U.S. Department of Justice into whether he had a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old girl and paid her for her travel with him. 3 people who had been briefed on the matter told the New York Times that investigators are examining whether Gaetz violated federal sex trafficking laws. The people said, now, let me just talk about that paragraph. And that's Red State repeating the New York Times. So 3 people who had been briefed on the matter. You notice how now the New York Times, whenever they have an anonymous source, they always tell you they had 3 or multiple sources, even though they probably didn't. They lie to you every time because people were kind of giving them shit for constantly having anonymous sources. Well, and also for them being wrong so often when it comes a story when it's anonymously sourced. So this backs of a New York Times reporter finding out he was the subject of an investigation and jumping it to the conclusion he was the target, with hopes of breaking a big story, getting a Pulitzer. Advocate Diabli, I agree with you. So for his part, Gaetz denies the claim. He went on Tucker Carlson's show the other night and named a person he alleges is trying to extort him. Later, Red State confirmed that Gaetz was telling the truth about his father wearing a wire for the FBI to investigate the matter. Where that leaves us is anyone's guess. Gaetz is certainly a character, and his defense is a bit convoluted, but the fact that this was leaked via 3 people briefed is yet another black eye for the FBI. Yeah, it's so funny how this can be leaked. But we sure haven't had many leaks in that old Hunter Biden laptop than the, snorting coke off a hooker's asses story, have we? That was leaked by some guy who had the hard drive copy in his computer shop. I'm just saying. There's a whole lot of and Hunter Biden. Holy shit! Oh my God, there's so much more on that dude. The gun story and the fact that he was stripping his dead brother's widow and cheated on her with a exotic dancer in Missouri and has a kid with someone that he cheated with his dead brother's wife on. But we found out all that organically, not from the FBI. Anyway, Really, it should bother everyone, no matter their feeling of Gaetz, that the FBI can just leak something like this to attack someone in such a blatantly political way. When you're facing an anonymous allegation, you can't respond to it in an effective manner. Just last night, the reporter behind the Times story appeared on Rachel Maddow's show and countered Gaetz' claims about the man he named, yet she did so offering no proof whatsoever. These games are rigged and you aren't supposed to be able to defend yourself. That's the whole point of this. When you do leak this kind of, leak this, we don't know if it's a fake story, but the purpose is to, one, smear, because now, no matter what happens with this case, he's being accused of child sex trafficking of a 17-year-old girl. That's what they called it in the article. No matter if you're ever quit or not, that's always behind your name on a leaked story. How can you defend yourself on that? Now, notice how tightly sewn up the FBI has been about the current Hunter Biden investigation and a myriad of other past transgressions by the president's son. Their lips only seem to get loose when a Republican is in the crosshairs, and that should bother everyone. It's corruption, and it deserves the scorn it receives. Further, this makes the FBI look really stupid. You're telling me that the FBI needs a multi-year investigation to prove whether Gaetz traveled with a 17-year-old? Shouldn't that be readily apparent or quickly disproven given the simplicity of the evidence involved? If she was 17 and they did travel, the only reason to hold off as long as they have is because they don't have a cooperative victim. The play for $25 million may have been a suggestion that the victim is considering being cooperative, but might be made to reconsider. But Gaetz's statement is a pretty bold play. I can't comprehend him doing so without something solid, that she was 18 or older at the time. There's no reason for the DOJ FBI to have held off charging him as long as this, because this investigation started out in 2018 under the Trump administration. And it's funny, and again, clearly they found a way to leak it during the new administration because, hey, I'm sure that they're encouraged to leak anything that's bad for Republicans. But again, and if Gaetz did what they accuse him of doing, then FTG Matt Gaetz. I'm just saying. But if the FBI is not going to charge Gaetz for anything, and they should know by now whether he did anything wrong, then they should come out publicly and slap this report down. By letting it hang in the air, it makes them look like they're part of a political play here, and perhaps they are. It also makes them look incompetent, and again, perhaps they are. Who would think that? There need to be major reforms within the FBI and the DOJ in regards to securing information about investigations. This constant stream of anti-Republican leaking to outlets like the Times and the Washington Post is just gross and wrong. But you aren't going to get those reforms with the current leadership, so expect this kind of thing to continue and for it to always go in one direction. Exactly, and I would just give out... in fact, I'm going to change this. I was going to say FTG New York Times, but I'm going to say FTG to the FBI. There you go. All right. Let's see real quick here. Hello, Mr. Yes. Welcome. Good morning, Lord Stanhope. Nice to see you. And also good morning, Fight for Your Rights. Welcome back, and Tarai Deos. Good morning, everybody. Nice to have you all here. So far, we've got 40 people in the house. That's great, fantastic. If you like what we're doing during the show, hit the like button sometime, because you just got to say, I like him. I really like him. Wait, that didn't come out right. How did Sally Fields do that? I don't know. And then, if you haven't shared the stream, share it out. Hit that share arrow down there and put it out on social media, or, like many of you have already done, put it out on the... Oh, I didn't even set it out myself. What a dark. Anyway, thank you, Willett Forge, Johnny Hellcat, Angel Tibbs, Becca Fairley, and Somnambule Nation for sharing out the stream on Twitter. And if you put it out anywhere else, well, there you go. Why not both? Well, yeah, why not both? FTG to all the alphabet boys. Yeah, I agree. Oh, why not both? Yeah, okay, fine. FTG New York Times. Not OURK. Orc Times. There you go. I'm with you. Anyway. Okay, and then if you really like the show and you really like what we do and want to help keep it going, you can always become a sponsor through Streamlabs and YouTube Super Chats. The links are all over the place. By the way, speaking of which, I got something to show you. I have some new merch. Let me show you. And the 2020 FTG merchandise is no longer. I've gotten rid of it, but I do have, let me go here. How do I get to my, there we go. I got some new merch in the store. Now, so when I created this yesterday, I was thinking to myself, this could possibly get me in trouble. I don't know. And it makes the possibility that I could get kicked off of Streamlabs or off of other parts of social media. But for you, I'm going to take that chance because I have a brand new line in the Streamlabs store, which you can go to PDawgKnight.live and click the merch link. And here it is. Here's the new line. It is the Resist Fascism line. And I can't even remember who gave me the idea. Why are we singing I Can Believe I Can Fly? I believe. Oh, I see. I believe I could fly. Got caught by the FBI. All I wanted was some chicken wings with some low-fat onion rings. You know what, Selected Boy? You need to finish that parody song. I might even record it. That's funny. So anyway, here is the new Resist Fascism line. We got the pocket t-shirt, which is more subtle if you don't want to, put it out big time on there. Now I got two different shirts. I don't know what the difference between the two tees, except one's cheaper than the other. I think this is a poly cotton blend. And then the other one comes in other different colors. But so they come in different colors. There's gray, there's black, there's navy, there's light gray, and there's white. And then the other shirt comes in black and green and blue and white and orange, and then this one just comes in black and white. And then I also have the hoodie, which comes in black, kind of a lighter bluish color, a more of a sports gray color, or excuse me, navy, sports gray and white. And then the Resist Fascism hashtag Resist Fascism. Excuse me. And there you go. We got that. And you can get that different colors. One with a red brim, one with a gray brim, one with a blue brim. And finally, the Resist Fascism coffee cup. Now, I do have one other item. It's a 16-ounce black mug, but it's out of stock right now. But anyway, so I hope you all, if you get a chance, you can check out the link in the description down below. Good morning, Jedi Ghost Bear. Good morning, Angry, aka Why Are You So Angry? And good morning, Check Your Logic. So there you go. So yeah, check out. I almost got one in camouflage, but here's the thing, okay? And I'm gonna start using the Resist Fascism hashtag on Twitter, and I'll probably get banned for a couple days or anything like that. But we'll just see what happens. I don't know. This is one of those things that you can take a lot of shit for, and could possibly get you banned off of multiple platforms. I'm taking that chance for you. I would use I've already ordered a coffee cup, and did I order a shirt? I should have ordered a hat. But anyway, so because we believe that everyone should resist fascism. And whoever had that idea, thank you. I can't even remember who for the first one who said fascism, but I'm like, oh my God, that would make great merch. It'd be hilarious. It would be hilarious merch. It would be perfect. So anyway, so that's you can go to the PDawgKnight.live. There is a tab at the top of the here's the site here, PDawgKnight.live. Right up here, there's a little link to click merch. You click that link, and there you go. That's my merch page. That's all I have on there right now. I've got a few other items I've been thinking about that I'm going to add to my merch store, but I think that's funny, and I'm very proud of it. So there you go. And the reason I came up with that because there is an organization called Resist Fascism. And so I thought we'd play on that a little bit. Hopefully I don't get in any trouble for that. Thank you, RVA Dar, also, and Will It Forge for tweeting out the show. All right, let's move on. I want to talk a little bit. This is an article in the New York Post this morning about, or at least, last night, about this insane infrastructure plan that Joe Biden's coming up with, and the Post editorial board ain't having it. Let's just say they ain't having it. Biden's jobs plan is a horrific con job. It is a well, we'll see what happens with it. Anyway, it's not a plan that tinkers around the edges. President Joe Biden said Wednesday in Pittsburgh of his $2 trillion American jobs plan. No freaking kidding. It's half of his master plan to utterly remake the nation in the name of recovery from the pandemic. Now, with half a brain tied behind my back, as the great one, El Rushbo, used to say, wouldn't it be just more simple to have the country recover by itself by getting shit open? I'm just saying. That would be an amazing... Your economic growth just from reopening the economy and having, as states are starting to reopen on their own, you're already going to have amazing growth. Okay, but we're going back to an old style, I'll say, Rooseveltian tax and spend plan, which, if you know anything about history, trying to be more New Deal-like, the New Deal prolonged the Great Depression. That's just facts. So anyway, America is reopening thanks to vaccines developed. Oh, let me stop real quick. Thank you, Hyman Lyman. Good morning. Thank you for the 556 through Streamlabs. Thank you for sponsoring the show this morning. And Hyman Lyman says, hang on a second, let me do this properly. Hyman Lyman says, sup, dog? Sup, Hyman? How you doing? Thank you very much, Hyman Live, for sponsoring the show. Yes, you too can sponsor the show. Just click that Streamlabs link and throw a couple bucks in the tip jar, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. You can do that 24 hours a day, and SuperChats are available also during the show. All right, America is reopening thanks to vaccines developed in record time, which, of course, the administration that shall never be named again is getting no credit for whatever crazy reason. And the economy is all set to return to the pre-COVID boom. Rather than get government to get the out of the way, you know what I meant to say there, as everyone gets back to work, Biden aims to spend unprecedented sacks of cash. Printers go brrrr. To spend unprecedented sacks of cash to grow the government and let Democratic interest groups gorge. Step 2, his American Family Plan drops in a few weeks with another $2 trillion in spending. This comes on top of his $1.9 trillion so-called COVID relief package and the $4 trillion Congress okayed last year, a quarter of it still unspent. This is a moment to reimagine and rebuild the economy, the new economy, the White House says. Why other than the fact that Democrats think they can get... Why? Why? Other than the fact that Democrats think they can get away with it? The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said in February, before Biden's first big bill passed, that the economy will reach its previous peak by mid-year. No new federal cash baths needed. But then Biden's proposal isn't about letting Americans get back to building their own lives. It's not even actually an American jobs plan. It's a con job to sell America on central planning. As for the infrastructure that's supposedly at the plan's center, even the White House doesn't pretend that more than a third of the money would go for roads, bridges, and so on, and it could be as little as 5%. I'm sorry, hang on a second here. In fact, the biggest single part of this is actually $400 billion for more and higher paid home care workers. Why? Well, Biden says such workers, mostly women of color, have been unseen, underpaid, and undervalued. Really? He wants to okay. Really? Higher paid home care workers. What kind of home care are we talking about here? Like people take care of people in homes? Or are we talking about maids? What the fuck's he talking about? Anyway, thank you, Good Fox 61, who says, "Oh yes, the Great New Deal worked out so well back in the 1930s. What's another $50 trillion in debt? Yeah, right." Thank you for sponsoring the show again, Gunfox81. You are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. So in fact, the White House boasts that this plan uniquely, quote, prioritizes addressing long-standing and persistent racial injustice. Well, why are you calling it the American Recovery Plan or American Families Plan or whatever the hell you're calling it? Hello, Reese. How you doing? By the way, what does it even mean to target 40% of the benefits of climate and clean infrastructure investments to disadvantaged communities? Apparently, per the White House, it involves making the imagined new jobs created in clean energy, manufacturing, and infrastructure, end quote, somehow, quote, accessible to women and people of color. Quote, is anyone? Biden also aims to revive dying private sector unions with items like $10 billion for a civilian climate corps, with good-paying union jobs with workers, quote, advancing environmental justice, end quote, whatever the hell that means. Hello, atheist icon. Biden also aims to revive dying private sector unions with, I already said that. This may be the dream of a certain House member from the Bronx. You know, the one who cries at parking lots. But it's failed before. The National Bureau of Economic Research found that only 15 positions were created for every $1 million spent on green jobs in the Obama 2009 stimulus. Now, in fact, here's the crazy thing, though. So they're talking about all these green jobs, yada, yada, yada. You know who has created a ton of green jobs? Or what industry has created a ton of so-called green jobs that might be getting sent to other countries now because of the Biden thing? You know the thing.
You know the thing.
The automobile industry. Tesla and all these companies starting to make electric cars, right? But no. We're going to spend money to... You know, look, here's the thing. If green energy could create all these jobs and create all this opportunity for business people and whatnot, wouldn't you think there'd be business people out there scrambling to come up with green solutions? And I'm sure many are. For example, Elon Musk created Tesla, making electric cars, because he saw a market for people who wanted electric cars. And he kind of has become fairly successful. Now, of course, his company does other shit too, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? If green energy opportunities are such a great thing, won't some genius come up with something that they can make a whole lot of money on? You don't think these people are researching? You don't think the automobile companies who've been working on battery technology, they're all starting to make all these electric cars, which still I can't figure out how you can take a long trip in an electric car and fill your tank. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still the most efficient vehicles are the gas-powered engines. Now maybe I'm still waiting for someone to come up with the hydrogen engine, and I don't know why. Although hydrogen is very volatile, but it's amazing to me, as abundant as hydrogen is in this country, that somebody and I'm sure somebody's working on it, that someone isn't figuring out how to make an efficient hydrogen engine that its byproduct would end up being water vapor, right? Because we have more hydrogen than probably the entire world has oil in the United States. And it kind of renews itself. It creates itself down in the rocks and shit. Hydrogen's very dangerous to store. You are correct, Annalyn. You are correct. So somebody who wants to make a whole lot of money is probably working on ways to find ways to store hydrogen that's safe, right? Electric cars are for cities. Yeah, exactly. And Zablé, you're correct. Gas-powered engine has a much smaller carbon footprint than electric cars do, because all the mining they have to do to find the components for batteries. Good morning, gayest person on YouTube. No good way to cheaply and safely store it commercially, unfortunately, at least yet. Well, some guy is going to be the next Elon Musk, or take over his spot when he figures out a way to do it and a way to sell it. The only solution for hydrogen is nuclear. Well, yeah, there you go. But that's what I'm saying. So all this green technology, which has been, or so-called expected green technology that they've wasted millions of dollars on, that have pretty much like I said, they said for every $1 million spent, only 15 positions have been created in the Biden stimulus, or excuse me, the Obama 2009 stimulus. And you got, and then also here, moving on to this article, Biden wants $174 billion in bribes / subsidies to get Americans to buy electric vehicles. That amounts to $174 billion in corporate welfare. Elon Musk says thank you. Why do you think they complain that they're complaining he's rich, but they're putting money in his pockets with all these subsidies, right? Then they're going to complain, oh, he doesn't pay enough in taxes. Well, you gave him billions in corporate welfare, right? Does he need it? Does he need it? Does he need to be subsidized to make his? Are people buying electric cars on their own? Some people are. It's amazing that there are people out there buying electric cars on their own. Now, granted, some of them are buying because they get a little tax credit, whatever. And like I said, the carbon footprint for an electric car is still more than a freaking gas-powered vehicle for the life of each vehicle. And good points, Lord Stanhope. The pollution of a modern vehicle is spread over its lifetime. An electric car has all its pollution at the beginning of its life and its disposal. Yeah. So we're destroying the world, making all these cars, and then what if they? Well, whatever. Okay. So, Biden pretends only those at the top were doing well pre-pandemic, which is a lie. but everyone else was falling behind. No, employment rates for blacks, Latinos, and other minorities were at record levels with major pay gains. And the tax hikes, he says, will mostly pay for his plan, sort of, kind of, not really, will override the Trump policies that produced that working class boom. The nation will pay a huge price if Biden somehow gets away with this. They say turkey, I say garbage, and FTG Joe Biden. But, you know, that's kind of a daily thing. All right, next. Here's the, and this is an interesting editorial too, by Lloyd Billingsley in American Greatness. When Joe met Frankly, profiling Democrats' presidential deceptions from FDR to Joe Biden. In his first White House press conference last month, Joe Biden needed a cheat sheet and marked photos of approved reporters. The Delaware Democrat thus invites a comparison to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who many Americans still believe was fully able-bodied and a tower of strength during World War II. Hugh Gregory Gallagher challenged that perception in FDR's Splendid Deception, which carries the subtitle, quote, "The moving story of Roosevelt's massive disability and the intense efforts to conceal it from the public." And I don't give a shit about his disability, but I think that was the subtitle actually was not, the fact that he was in a wheelchair was not his disability, FYI. In 1920, FDR was the Democratic candidate for vice president under James Cox. The next year, he suffered an attack of polio. And as Gallagher notes, FDR was anxious that the press should not know how severely paralyzed he had become. FDR associate Lois Howe constantly misled reporters and worked out a scheme to transfer Roosevelt without reporters discovering just how ill he really was. As Gallagher recalled, FDR had made it a rule during his first campaign for governor that photographers were not to take pictures of him looking crippled or helpless. During his entire career, reporters obeyed that with startling fidelity. I wonder where this article is going. Not a single newsreel showed Roosevelt being lifted, carried, or pushed in his chair. If a photographer broke the rules, the Secret Service would seize the camera and expose the film. I'm trying to think if they tried to block Ted Cruz from taking pictures of things that the Biden administration was doing on the border. This sounds familiar. The Secret Service built ramps for the president, sometimes raising an entire street to the level of the building entrance with wooden trestles and scaffolding. These extensive measures allowed FDR to appear to walk from his car into a building without undue effort. During the 1944 campaign in New York City, Roosevelt rode in an open car for more than 4 hours. Seemingly as strong and as resilient as ever, the press and the public had no clue what was happening behind the scenes. The Secret Service commandeered garage space, and as Gallagher recalled, the president's car was turned out of the parade into the warmth of the heated building. Secret Service agents quickly lifted the president from the car and stretched him out full length on blankets laid on the floor. They removed his clothes down to the skin. He was towel dry and given a rub down. He was redressed in dry clothes. Brandy was poured down his throat, and he was lifted back into the car. The pit stop was quickly done, and the president was soon back in the cavalcade. Roosevelt's problems weren't all physical. As World War II played out, FDR showed a curious indecision and distinct difficulty in organizing his thoughts. He would stare into space, slack-jawed, and took no briefings. During 16 months of decline, only a few persons on his immediate staff were aware of how marked it had become, Gallagher explains, and they were reluctant to admit, even to themselves, how serious it was. As his condition worsened, FDR outsourced more of his views to the pro-Stalin Harry Hopkins, a social worker and New Deal boss who actually lived at the White House. FDR was on record that if I give him, Stalin, everything I possibly can and ask for nothing in return, noblesse oblige, he won't try to annex anything and will work with me for a world of democracy and peace. Didn't quite turn out that way, and FDR died on April 12, 1945 at the age of 63. Now, let's compare and contrast. Joe Biden, 78, can walk unaided, but less than a week before his press conference, the Delaware Democrat fell 3 times while boarding Air Force One, something that many people have done. It happens. That's my own aside. Oh, hang on a second here. There we go. On March 25th, any legitimate reporter would have asked Biden about the falls, if he was taking any medications, if he had ever been diagnosed with dementia, if he was going to make public his medical records, and so forth. But Biden's handlers weren't going to allow anything like that. The perception of you that got you elected as a moral, decent man, said Yamich Alcindor of the PBS, is the reason a lot of immigrants are coming to this country and are trusting you with unaccompanied minors. Ladies and gentlemen, our press. That was an actual question in his press conference. The perception of you that you got elected as a moral, decent man is the reason a lot of immigrants are coming. Instead of a press conference, Biden's handlers served up a worship service, a.k.a., as we say on the Morning Night Live, they gave his taint a tongue bath. They gave him a big fat shot in the ass, and he comes out, and for 2 hours, he's better than ever before, said President Trump before a presidential debate last year. On March 25th, Biden's handlers doubtless gave Biden several big fat shots, and he was not better than before. Not that the plagiarizer prevaricator who vanquished the bad dude Corn Pop ever set much of a standard. It's hard to see how the addled Biden, who's running for president in 2024, who says he's going to run for president in 2024, we'll see, can build himself back better. Like FDR in his waning days, Joe Biden is a pathetic puppet of the Democrats' Harry Hopkins squad. These leftist Green New Dealers want Joe Biden to give America's adversaries everything they want, asking for little or nothing in return. Peace and democracy will not be served. So, we've already given Joe Biden his FTG for the day, so we're just going to move on here. I don't know if y'all saw this. If you watch Monkey in the Morning or other shows, they've mentioned this, but I just found this pretty amazing, and I just wanted to highlight this because this is almost, well, this is a bit disgusting. So, and this is from the Daily Caller, obviously, a right-wing publication. That student deserves a medal. Leaked video shows teacher infuriated that students won't point out racial differences between two women. And you know what? I got to laugh at the picture he used. A teacher in a London, which is in the United States, London County High School, angrily scolded a student in class for failing to point out the race of two females in a video shared on social media. In the video, posted to YouTube and Twitter, here, in fact, we'll go to that video in a second here. I'll pause it. Here, let me go here and pause this before it plays. There we go. All right, hang on. We'll pause that. The teacher initially asked the class to tell the story behind this picture, displaying a photograph of women with different skin tones. Now, barely, though, if you look at the picture, barely different skin tones. That's the other part of this that just made me go crazy. One student described the photo as just two people chilling. The teacher pressed the student over his response, saying, "I don't believe you believe that. Those two girls are twin sisters in the UK. Are they? Is that true? They're the same race? Is that the twin? Oh, are those the girls that the woman had? She had the weird twin situation that two different fathers, but they somehow, is that those girls? Mike Savage, let me know if that's what you're talking about." The teacher went on to accuse the student of being intentionally coy while telling the student for roughly a minute and a half that he should acknowledge the races of the two individuals. London County Public Schools has been embroiled in a controversy over the use of critical race theory in the classroom. This is that county. A secret Facebook group targeting parents who opposed its use has sparked outrage and a recall campaign against 6 members of the school board. So anyway, let's just watch this. This is kind of it's sad, actually. why is it giving me that size of a screen? Anyway, here we go. Let's play this. This is annoying as hell. Good morning, Jen. How you doing? The most racist people are pointing fingers than others. Yeah, here we go.
Behind this picture, I'd rather hold on to that. Just tell me what this seems to be a picture of.
And so when I look at this picture too, it doesn't even, even for me, it doesn't really dawn on me to go, well, that's a white girl and a black girl. First of all, their skin tone is almost the same. One has curly hair and one's ginger. So clearly, the kid should have said, well, obviously one has soul and one has no soul. That would have been the best answer for him to give. But even then, this girl's so light skinned, a lot of black people would never even say that she was a black girl. I always joke because my father in Nigeria he joked that I was his white child, because I'm so light skinned. I go to Nigeria and I may as well be white because I stick out when I'm in Nigeria. But anyway, let me go on here.
It's just two people chilling.
It is
just two people. There's nothing more to this picture.
Nah, not really. Just two people chilling.
I don't believe that you believe that. I don't believe that you look at this as just two people. I don't think
Truly
you
is
can look
just
at
two
this as
people,
just
though,
two
is it
people.
not?
Yeah, but I think you're being intentionally coy about what this is a picture of.
What would I be being coy about? It's two people standing back to back in a picture.
Yeah, and that's all you see is two people.
Yeah.
I'm confused on what you would like
I
me
mean,
to speak on in that
I
sense.
don't think you are. I don't know why you do this. I'm not trying to call you out, but
You are calling him out. That's a lie. Fire this asshole. In fact, I'm just going to do it right now. FTG, that teacher. I mean, seriously, if I'm looking at this, the two girls, the black girl who I guess she's black or mixed race or whatever, not that it really freaking matter. This picture tells you nothing. You know what I'm saying? It tells you it's a picture of two people, and you don't have there's not a whole lot of difference between them other than curly hair, skin's a little bit different, but you know nothing about. You can't tell anything about these people through this picture. Whether one is super smart, one's super dumb, one might be mentally challenged for all you know. One might be into soccer, one might be into figure skating. There's nothing. You have no idea from looking at this picture what is, and he just wants you to assume something because they. Oh my God, they're both they're attractive girls, but again, one has soul and one has no soul. I'm sorry to all my redhead friends. That's just a funny joke to me.
Come out off of mute to talk about what this is a picture of, and you act as if there's nothing noticeable about this apart from the two people.
Well, I'm confused. Are you trying to get me to say that there are two different races in this picture?
Yes,
is that
I
what
am
you
asking
want
you
me
to
to
say
say?
that.
Well, at the end of the day, wouldn't that just be feeding into the problem of looking at race
Yes!
instead of just acknowledging them as two normal people?
No, it's not, because you can't look at the people and not acknowledge that there are racial differences, right?
Why?
But if we're let's say if we're looking for equality within all this, then why would we need to point out things such as that?
Because those differences are real things. You can't.
So?
You can't.
So anyway, the interaction of the video and the screenshots obtained by the Daily Caller appear to contradict denials by LCPS, that's London County Public Schools, that critical race theory is being taught in classrooms. In the video, we saw the video. Patty Hidalgo Menders, chairwoman of the London County Republican Women's Club, vouched for the authenticity of the video to the Daily Caller, saying this original video was actually sent to me by one of my club members over a month ago. She is family and friends with the student who recorded this. The member said she did not know who leaked the video, but noted it was previously edited to remove the name of the student and other students. Ian Pryor of London Parents for Education told the Daily Caller London County Public Schools is blatantly lying to parents about what and how they are teaching at school. It is very clear that the school system is being run by activists that couldn't care less about the principles of equality for all, nor do they care about providing students the kind of education that will build hardworking, critical thinking, and tolerant students. Alexis Rose Bank of the Virginia Project PAC added, the kids know better than the bureaucrats. They know judging people by the color of their skin is wrong, and they don't want they don't want to be themselves judged that way either. That student deserves a medal. Yeah, he does. I mean, that's good for that kid for not taking the bait, and it's just stupid. I gotta tell you, it's just stupid. All right, let's see. What else I got here? Now I got to look up things because I ran out of things. I'm gonna skip. Okay, we're gonna skip this. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's do a little update on the Derek Chauvin trial because okay. Thank you, Hig. While I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next, with the Streamlabs donation. Thank you for being a sponsor of the Morning Night Live. Who says it's a lie that gingers have no soul. They get a freckle for every soul they steal. Oh, Hig, there you go. Very, very good. Thank you for sponsoring the show and for giving me a little bit of a giggle there. Okay, let's talk about the Chauvin trial because they're trying to make this about have this verdict being another meeting. And look for stuff in look in Discord. There's tons of stuff. I have a whole list today. I'm just deciding which one I'm going to use, but actually I'll probably go through the Discord this afternoon like I usually do and pull a few things out of there for tomorrow too. So about this case, because there's people out there saying that the show was the verdict in the case is going to have greater meaning about the world. And I agree with this article that says the verdict in Derek Chauvin's trial is not a reflection of anything other than the facts of the case. The media narrative about the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin should disturb you if you are concerned with due process. Oh yeah, they've already saying that he should be convicted. The evidence and testimony be damned. They see one side of it, and they're sticking with it. And if you've been here, you know my opinion. My opinion is that he is probably criminally liable, criminal negligence, probably some sort of manslaughter, unintentional homicide, but clearly not the only factor in George Floyd's death. In fact, George Floyd's death is very likely inevitable. But again, I say when you don't have the situational awareness of knowing what's going on when you're detaining a suspect in that particular case, not realizing and not figuring out a way that, figuring out that he is losing consciousness and that you need to take steps to try to revive him, even though it's very unlikely that he would have been able to be revived. He wouldn't be in the predicament that he is. Instead, holding the person down until paramedics got there when the guy is, clearly is no longer breathing. And that's why I say, even though it's probably very likely that George Floyd would have died either way because of the fluids that were filling his lungs due to the fentanyl and methamphetamines in his system. Again, the initial autopsy, when they said his lungs were 2.5 times their normal weight, meaning they were filled with fluid, the liability would no longer have been Derek Chauvin and the other officers, because they would have at least taken steps to help the man. They did not, and that's where I say their situational awareness puts them in legal jeopardy. However, The media narrative about the trial, and I'll continue in this article, of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin should disturb you if you are concerned with due process. It is a criminal trial, and the jury must use the standard beyond a reasonable doubt to find Chauvin guilty of anything. This article does not advocate for either finding. Instead, it promotes the idea that Chauvin's guilt or innocence must rely on the facts in the case and whether or not they prove the elements of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. The idea is fundamental to our justice system, but it appears almost no talking heads in the media and none of the activist lawyers recall that principle. The narrative is beginning to sound a lot more like mob justice, with a threat of a repeat performance of last summer's violent riots hanging in the air. In a civilized society based on due process, the city of Minneapolis and American citizens should accept this. Unfortunately, with the barricaded court building, heightened security, and National Guard at the ready, we seemed resigned to it. The lawyer for George Floyd's family, Benjamin Crump, grievance grifter extraordinaire, wrote this in an editorial for USA Today. Quote, "A guilty verdict would show progress, a long overdue sign that America is finally ready not just to confront, but eradicate the racism mired in police activity that has been evident but ignored for decades now." Before I even continue reading here, I am probably going to start asking this question to anyone who immediately says to me that Derek Chauvin is guilty. And regarding this particular case, because we had protests for months. Black Lives Matter, right? Black Lives Matter. Well, I guess my question, and look, of course, Black Lives Matter. And Asian lives matter, and Latino lives matter, and anyone who's killed in a situation like this. Tony Timba's life mattered. Anyone who is killed, even I hate to say the word unjustly, because that assumes that all these cases are unjust, and they're not. A lot of these, obviously, most confrontations with police and people who get finished by police are justified, and we have to decide the ones that are not. But my question for anyone who says that, it says, okay, fine. Was George Floyd was he killed because he's a black man? And I want someone to find out a way to justify that if they say yes. Or did he die because of a situation that he put himself in, and unfortunately the police officer involved did not handle in the best manner? Did he die because he was black? There's no evidence that they're just going out and killing black men willy-nilly because they are black men. Very rare. Very rare. And so when Crump says something like this, a guilty verdict would show progress. Well, progress on what? Okay? Every single one of these situations is unique to and unto itself. Continuing the article, as a lawyer, Crump should know this is not what a verdict demonstrates. A guilty verdict would show that the jury unanimously found the evidence proves Derek Chauvin's guilt for the crime's specific elements beyond a reasonable doubt. That is it. It is not a reflection on society, a symbol of progress, or a reflection on any other police department or officer anywhere. By the way, whoops, and there, that messed up there. Hang on, sorry about that. What the hell's going on here? Hang on. The verdict's basis is the complete set of circumstances present during the nearly full hour of body cam footage that documents the interaction between the shop employees, George Floyd, his companions, and the Minneapolis police officers summoned to the scene on May 25th, 2020. Not anyone's perception of what should happen based on their own experience, prejudice, or thoughts about American history. Truly stupid people with platforms also feel the need to weigh in. Mediocre comedian and constitutional scholar Chelsea Handler, for example. So pathetic that there is a trial to prove that Derek Chauvin killed George Floyd when there is a video of him doing so. Gee, rocket scientist woman with an extra degree in biological and forensic science. What else could have the man died from? According to Handler, there's no need for a trial when you have seen a tenth of the story on video. Of course, the 9-minute, 29-second viral video clip is the only one Chelsea has ever seen. The only one demonstrated liars like Benjamin Crump want you to consider when forming your opinion. The clip is out of context and brutally emotional. Crump is the same lawyer who said Jacob Blake was unarmed when police shot him in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in another out-of-context viral video. The media carried Crump's water on that claim, and Kenosha burned as a part of the 2020 Summer of Rage. Then there's former Congressman and Republican Joe Wall shrieking like a teen girl on Twitter. I don't care what was in his system. I don't care if he was drunk. I don't care if he was high. I don't care if he was angry. I don't care if he was sad. I don't care. That cop's knee should not have been on that man's neck for almost 9 minutes. Period. End of story. That's it. Well, just another aside by me. I think it's important to know whether the cop's knee is what killed the man. Now, what killed the man is his lungs filling with fluid. And because there were no bruises on his neck and there's no trauma to him, but is it the officer's job to have the situational awareness to realize what's happening to someone he's supposed to be bringing in to be prosecuted rather than just letting him die there in the street? Yes. And that's why I still say there is a negligence factor on the part of Derek Chauvin that creates a liability for him. Is it murder? No. At least not in my opinion. But I'm not a lawyer. That's my opinion. But he is responsible. Okay? That's my opinion. And you don't have to agree with me on that at all. I know there's a whole wide range of opinions on this. That's my opinion. Please feel free to share your own and have your own. Imagine, though, that thinking that you stand for freedom when you think that due process is not required and only a single element of the entire interaction matters. It might shock Walsh to find out that the hold Chauvin used is part of Minneapolis police officers' training. It was not applied to put pressure on his trachea, and the medical examiner found no evidence that it did. How will this factor in the trial remains to be seen? Well, what do you have to prove it by? Beyond a reasonable doubt. That could be a problem. The legal teams will also bring many other elements of the situation into evidence. The defense will present the level of fentanyl and methamphetamines in George Floyd's system. The Hennepin County medical examiner's statement that if George Floyd had been found dead, it would have been considered an overdose will be an issue. The defense team will present Floyd's medical condition, his COVID-19 status. Oh my God, that's right. He also had COVID. I wonder what they put on the death certificate. Is this one of Minnesota's COVID deaths? Curious. His behavior resisting arrest and his constant complaints of trouble breathing long before he was on the ground because his lungs were filled with fluid. Hard to breathe when your lungs are filled with fluid. Anyway, The fact that the first responders are taught if someone can talk, they can breathe, may be noted. Remember, he was saying he couldn't breathe. Just if you can talk, you can breathe. Legal commentators from the right, like Ben Shapiro, and the left, like Barbara McQuaid, have both noted that based on the facts of the case and the element of the crimes Chauvin has been charged with, a conviction will be difficult. That is because of due process and the evidentiary standard in a criminal trial matter. Even Vice President Kamala Harris said convicting Chauvin will be difficult. She also said people are conditioned to trust police officers. Perhaps she doesn't recall the events of the last 9 months or the disgusting ad she made with Joe Biden during the campaign. We might go take a look at that just as a reminder. No American should celebrate either verdict. Damn Skippy, but a guilty verdict, there'll be people celebrating. I don't know if anyone will celebrate a not guilty verdict. Celebrate? No. Feel vindicated? Maybe. Because there's a lot of people who automatically say not guilty just because of the drugs part. But I do think that the officers have some liability in this. But certainly not murder. Murder's a deliberate act. A guilty verdict does not mean anything other than that the evidence proved the criminal elements beyond a reasonable doubt. An acquittal doesn't mean George Floyd's families did not lose a brother and a son. Not every tragic thing that happens is a crime. It is imperative that Americans circle back to the fundamental principles of our justice system, understanding that due process may not always serve anyone's preferred narrative. And so I'm not, other than Benjamin Crump, no FTGs in that article. All right, got a couple minutes left, and I did also show you the about the ad that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden made. They basically where's the ad? The shooting. Where is it? Well, you can read it yourself. It's just Joe Biden and Kamala Harris support criminals and demoralize cops. And it's from back in October. Anyway. All right. Let's finish up here. By the way, just a reminder, in the merch tab on my PDawgKnight.live page, which is right there, PDawgKnight.live. There's a merch tab if you want to check out the Resist Fascism shirts and cups and things like that, hats. Order yours today. I ordered a couple so that I'd have samples, and I'll be wearing those as soon as they arrive. Now they may take a couple weeks because they are their manufacturers are a little bit behind. They're only running at 50% capacity, so it may take 2 to 3 weeks to get them, but still very funny and I know it's going to get me in trouble. When it gets me in trouble, I'm going to tell y'all, yeah, I told you this is going to get me in trouble. By the way, hello, Hitman Guy Mump. Nice to see you. Let me see. I'm just going in the chat here. Let's just go in here. Hot big fire. How big a fire will Minnesota be? Here's the thing. I think there's going to be riots either way, guilty or not guilty. I don't think as soon as that trial's over, there's going to be riots, regardless of what regardless of what happens. And because right now, a lot of it is just opportunists, and there's a lot of pent up, just energy and anger, just because everyone in Minnesota is fairly locked down. I mean, it's not completely, but there's a lot of people out there with nothing to do, and it's just going to happen. I said not guilty due to no bruising. And look, not guilty for the murder part, but there's also a manslaughter charge. And so whether or not there was bruising. They holding him down didn't kill George Floyd, but the lack of attempt to give him assistance is negligence. Okay, that's where I'm coming from. So I think there is a reason to find him guilty of that part, even if he would have died either way. Part of his job would have been to give him, attempt at reviving, attempt at life-saving assistance, and their lack of again, I always say this word, situational awareness, where they did not realize this guy had been dead under them probably for 3 minutes. That is, that's where the liability, there is criminal liability in that. If you are a police officer, part of your duty is to at least attempt to revive this person, and they did not do that. Did Minneapolis go to hell fast? Here's the other thing though. Now I'm curious as where is the upheaval going to be? Because the courthouse is nowhere near the location of where George Floyd died. So right now they still have that George Floyd autonomous zone where a couple people have been murdered, and they're still keeping police out and stuff. They still haven't ended that nonsense yet. You go down there, you can't go in that area. And the people that live in that area, the businesses in that area are really angry with the city of Minneapolis. But after this particular trial, if there is not a guilty verdict on any of the charges, I'm not so confident that the Hennepin County Courthouse will be standing at the end of the day. That's my opinion. Because all the action is going to be around that area, and that's where the riots going to be. And I don't, but look, it's even the riots back last year, they were pretty much in a certain 20 block area along Lake Street in Minneapolis. It wasn't the entire city. The whole city didn't burn down. And in fact, in none of these cities, you say, oh, they burned the city down. Well, they didn't burn the city down. But there were certain sections of that town or cities that did burn. But still, none of it should have. None of it should have. Anyway, even in that case, if you were accused of passing a bad bill that you didn't know wouldn't you get defensive, which could come off as being a dick? Oh, you're talking about the fact that he was passing illegal fake money or whatever? Whatever it is, it's against the law. And another orphan paid to die. Guilty verdict, proof cops are bad equals riot. Not guilty verdict, proof the system is rigged equal riot. That's where I'm at too, Advocatus Diaboli. I think it's going to be, there's going to be a riot either way. There's going to be a riot either way. And I guarantee you the family of George Floyd has already said they don't want that. They don't want any of this. They want just, it's going to be what it is. At least the ones who've spoken publicly in the local papers and things like that, they don't want anything about it. So, all right. So that's going to be it. Because now I'm at the magic hour. Let me just check notifications real quick. Let's see here. Okay, Angel Tibbs, thank you again. Okay, so I thanked everybody for the putting everything out on Twitter. I appreciate that. And okay, that's done there. Let me see if there's any breaking news. Doesn't look like it. At least, let's see. Oh God. Amy Klobuchar, voting rights suppression in Georgia is just the beginning. It's happening in Michigan too. Our country will be a patchwork of laws rolling back access to the ballot box if we do nothing. That's false. And the For the People's Act, the HR 1, is complete and utter garbage. FTG, Amy Klobuchar, my damn senator. In fact, here we go. FTG Amy Klobuchar. I might, you know what I might do on that note is actually go through that Georgia bill. There's a lot of stuff in there that's just they're hyping and telling you bullshit, and the idea that people don't have an ID. We kind of went through that yesterday where the lady was saying, oh, there's 3 million people in the country that don't have IDs and at least 25% of black people. Well, 3 million people isn't even 10% of the black people in America, so that's false. And you cannot function in American society without ID. That's just bullshit. Anyway, let's see. 4 years ago, New York Times columnist Nick Kristof wrote a column on Trump versus Big Bird and how he prefers Big Bird because the arts humanize us and promote empathy. Oh, boy. Anyway. All right, that's it. I got to go, folks. Hey! I've got to thank you for being here. Before you do anything, before you click a button or do one of that crazy stuff, hit the like button before you go. Please, please, please. And also, tomorrow, Friday, the 2nd of April, is going to be the birthday show. If I remember to finish the graphics this afternoon that I've been working on. And make sure that you resist fascism. Go to the PDawgKnight. Oops. There we go. The PDawgKnight .live website and click the merch tab to order your resist fascism items, as long as they will keep making them. I don't know, anyone got an over and under with and how long I'm going to stay out of trouble selling that particular merchandise? I there's got to be someone that as soon as someone gets wind of this getting out, that's why I say order it early while you can. Because somebody's going to get wind of the fact that that item exists. And one, I'm going to see some CNN jackass at my door bitching at me and ask me why I would make such a crazy shirt. And two, it's almost as though it's something that could get me kicked off of social media. I'm very wary of that. I'm nervous about that. But it's so funny to me. And I think it's something that if... I'm sure a lot of people would buy that item. At least I think so. I'm just afraid to promote it. But you can order one now and get one while you can. In fact, I'm going to take... Where is that? Oh, I already put it away. Here, I'll show it to you one more time. The Resist Fascism merch at PDawgKnight.live. Where's my... let's see. Merch... And go to store and let's go back to the full screen. There you go. The Resist Fascism line from PDawgKnight.live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta go. Thanks for being here today. Hit the like button, share the video out, and you can do donations through Streamlabs and YouTube Super Chat, as well as Venmo and Cashapp if you are able and wish. And if you can't, hey, look, here's the thing. If you can't think of what to do with your stimulus money, right there, guys. Anyway, all right, guys, I gotta go. Thank you so much. My name is Dawg Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.